Hello everyone, this is Super Nintendroid with a video game review, and the first video game review I'm going to be reviewing is the Nintendo 3DS XL. I'll also be comparing it with the Nintendo 3DS, as you can see to my right. So as you can see, this is the Cosmo Black 3DS and the Red and Black 3DS XL. As you can see, it's red and on both top and bottom, and black in the center, in the middle. Don't mind my thumb, I was having a little bit too much fun with the pen, but anyways, this is the system itself. It's pretty big, actually, if you look at it. If you look at it in person, it's a lot bigger than what you expect. It's really large. It's a little bit shorter than the Nintendo DSi XL, where it would be a little bit longer, maybe by that much. Where the little bezel part of the 3DS would be, that's how a little bit longer the Nintendo DSi XL would be. But the Nintendo 3DS XL really is a lot more bigger than I expected. These are still out there. They're worth $199.99 US, and they released on August 19th, 2012. The same day they launched New Super Mario Bros. 2 for Nintendo 3DS, which is a really great game if you ask me. I really recommend getting it. So, get in there, you stupid thing. Perfect. Anyways, let's take a look at the front here, shall we? As you can see, the first thing you'll notice is that this is a really glossy system. There's gloss all over, and speaking of which, there will leave fingerprints all over the damn thing. It is all over, and it's really annoying and tedious. Like, you will wipe everything clean. Like, I will wipe it down right here, right now. I will wipe it down. Let me check if it is. Still some smudges. Let me get on harder. Okay, this is the best I can get. But as you can see, that's as best I can get. And then, boom, smudges already. It's annoying, it's tedious. But with the 3DS XL, you have a matte finish back again from the DSi and the DS, which I'm really happy that they brought back, because it was a really nice thing they put on the Nintendo DS family, and I really like how they put that back in the 3DS XL to make it look more like a Nintendo DSi XL, if you ask me. Now, as you can see, it's all matte finish all over. They're a little bit smudgy though, but you know, that's not too noticeable. I mean, you will see smudges, but hey, what can you say? At least it's not this. You know, it's crazy weird. And the model itself, it's completely different from the Nintendo 3DS. You can see, you know, I put it like this. You can see the 3DS XL's model design is completely different from the Nintendo 3DS. Everyone was expecting it to be a larger version of this design, but actually no, they just swapped everything and just made it a new system, and it looks pretty great. So as you can see, the cameras are still at the same length, nor wider or farther apart from each other. Is if you do that, like if the Nintendo 3DS cameras would be like one here and then one here, you're going to screw up the 3D, because you have to have the 3D effect. In order to have that, you got to have it at a certain length, kind of like your eyes, because your eyes are actually at that length from each other, the pupils, so that's how you get the 3D effect. So nothing has changed there. The LED light is also at the same position. It's still that pink color, which I really wish they put like a different color than pink, like white or something. That'd be a lot better, but you know, what can I ask for? The LED notification light, as you can see on the Nintendo 3DS, is right here, that little corner right here. You can barely see it, but you can see that on here. It's not on it is on the same part, but it's a little. Oh, it's a little bit different looking, but that's all I can describe it as. If we take a look at the front here, there are some things that have been mixed around and stuff. First thing you notice is that the headphone jack is boosh all the way over to the left of the system. I don't know why they did that, but I really can't, you know, complain, because, you know, at least they put that there, unlike the Game Boy Advance SP. That would suck. As you can see, it was from the center when the 3DS release. Most of the DS systems, actually all of them, had the headphone jack on the right side. I was used to having it on the right side. I like that. But having it on the center, you know, it was pretty much more symmetrical. But having this here just makes it completely different. But, you know, who's complaining? As you can see here, we have the LED lights that indicate the battery status and the charging status. As you can see, none of them are charging. So the lights on the battery lights are blue, and you can see the charging lights are off. They would turn orange like the Nintendo 3DS and the predecessors of the Nintendo 3DS, and it would flash, or it would turn off when it would be done charging. The headphone, I already mentioned the headphone jack. The wrist strap attachments, as you can see on the 3DS, are extremely small. I could barely fit my Wii wrist strap attachment into these things. But with the 3DS XL, you can see that they're completely different. There's no holes on the bottom, it's just on the sides, on the corners, and I really like this, because it's like a lot larger, and there's a little metal stick driven into the center, so that, that's what she said, so that you can fit your, wrist straps in there much more easier than the 3DS. On the left side here, you will notice one thing is missing on the 3DS XL, and that is the SD card slot. As you can tell, the SD card slot has been changed, and it is now on this side, and so is the stylus. And I am really happy that they did this, put that back at the original spot where it used to be and where it should be, which I'm really happy of, because I would be sick and tired having to dig around here and just pull out the stylus, you know. Also, the stylus, I'll just leave this out. The stylus on the 3DS XL is not telescopic like the 3DS. It's basically original like the DSi. Now, it is a little bit shorter than the Nintendo 3DS stylus, you can tell by there. But, you know, this is movable, so you can have it at, like, this position. You can actually make the 3DS stylus a lot more larger than expected. But, you know, I don't really care. I really like the stylus a lot better than the 3DS. I like the telescopic stylus, but I never thought it would catch on after that. That's basically on this side. I'm saying too much. As you can see, the wireless switch is at the same point right there. So is there. They're both spring activated, so you know, you push up and then it springs back down, kind of like the DS Lite, how its power switch was like that. And you got the 3D depth sliders. I'll show you that in just a moment. The SD card slot is right here. It comes with a 4 gig, unlike the 3DS, where it came with a 2 gig, as you can see. And put that back in, and there we go. Now we continue on this side. Everything is the same except the stylus placement on the 3DS XL is not here anymore. Like I told you, it's on the left or the right side of the system. The L and R buttons have been changed, and dramatically actually, and I really appreciate these ones better than the 3DS buttons because they don't click very well, but they're not mushy either, so that makes it really nice and feels like you're actually pressing them really nicely. And they're not back behind some plastic, so it's not going to get your contacts, the contact buttons, you know, kind of dirty and stuff easily. It's easily to clean, and it's really great. The charging port is the same, 4.6 volts. I'm going to actually focus here. 4.6 volts is the same thing as it was on the 3DS as well as the DSi and the DSi XL. Unfortunately, the Wii U gamepad, it's actually a little bit larger. That's what I found out, or that's what I heard. So that's a pretty big of a drag. You got the communications port, just like the Nintendo 3DS, except it's now a pill shape instead of the square rectangular shape. You got your game card slot. I have Mario Kart 7 in this one, and New Super Mario Bros. 2 in this one. Both really great games. I recommend them. And then you also have these two little metal plates on the sides of the charging ports. And that's because they do have a charging cradle for the 3DS XL, but I don't think they have it in the US yet, so you might have to order it online. You also have these two little holes. These are for like attaching accessories onto it, like the Circle Pad Pro, how it would actually, you know, attach those on the 3DS. So it's basically like the Game Boy Advance SP, how it would latch on so the system won't fall out of the accessory when you're playing it. So that's all on the sides, and let's open up the systems and show you the neatness that is inside.
New Super Mario Brothers 2.
It's a little bit too loud. I'm actually going to turn that off and leave this on. As you can tell, you did hear another click in the hinge. Yes, basically just like the DSi XL, they brought that back too, which I'm really happy of because it's really nice. Even though I don't have any use for it, unless I'm sitting on the unless I'm sitting on the on the couch and I'm putting it on the coffee table. Yeah, I can do that, but you know, I really have no purpose for using it. So let me back out of here. So overall, you can tell dramatically that the screens on the 3DS XL are a lot more bigger and a lot more crisper actually than the Nintendo 3DS. Even though the Nintendo 3DS screen is actually brighter than the 3DS XL, it's because I did something here. Aha! There we go. The 3DS XL screens are brighter, much more brighter than the Nintendo 3DS, and I have this at the highest setting. I'll show you right there. Power saving mode off. Power saving mode off. The 3DS XL's battery life has also been extended about almost double, about 6 to 7 to 8 hours, depending on what you use. Like if your Wi-Fi is on, if you're using 3D, which I really don't, and sometimes. Also, when it comes to playing 3DS games, it wastes more battery, unlike playing like DS games or DSiWare or downloaded games. As you can see, the button layout is the same thing, except what I really like that they put back, or what they did with the 3DS XL, is you see this little pad here that has a select home and start button. This I did not really appreciate all that much, because you can see that it's kind of to pull up on the bottom here. I don't like that. So what they did, they got rid of that, and they placed it with actual buttons, and that, my friends, is really great. I really appreciate this. This is really nice, and it actually tells you where the microphone is located. It's right there. You can see that little hole right there. Let me focus in for you so you can see. That little hole, oh damn it, that didn't do anything. There, you can see that little hole right there. That's where the microphone is. And also you can tell the power button is a circle, and it's actually engraved. If you look on the Nintendo 3DS, it's a square, and it's not engraved, it's actually printed on. The start, home, and select buttons on the 3DS are also printed, whereas the 3DS XL are engraved into the plastic. I accidentally turned on the camera. Let me get out of there. And let me get out of focus. Perfect. So as you can tell, yeah, most of the stuff is just the same placement. Everything's there. What's also nice is that you can now see the battery life, or the battery power, because if you're like playing your 3DS, you can't see the battery indicator. On here, it's double-sided, so you can actually see your battery life, which I'm really happy they did that. And they also did it with the wireless light. So overall, before I get off to this, the 3D effect on the 3DS with the 3DS XL, which is better? In my opinion, the 3DS XL is a lot better than the Nintendo 3DS, because you got a larger screen, and the 3D depth slider also helps it a lot better. On the 3DS, how if you were to accidentally, like when you're playing a game, you accidentally slide it up and your 3D goes all over the place and you don't want 3D? Nintendo fixed that on this system. As you can see, the 3D depth slider is now a little bit different. The speakers are as well, as you can see. But you can tell it's not engraved, or it's all engraved and it's not lit up or anything. But what I like about this is that it actually has a clicking mechanism in the slider. Watch this. You can actually hear it. Here, let me put it up against here. Let me focus in for you. If it focuses any closer, perfect. You can barely hear it, but it actually does snap into place. And that is something. That is really nice. So, that's basically the review itself. What can I say? Everything that was on the Nintendo 3DS is just bigger, better, and more fun to play on the Nintendo 3DS XL. Do I recommend it? Oh, yes, I do. I'll bet your ass I do. This is a really great system, and it comes in a lot of colors. Well, I don't know. I can't really truth that. It only comes out... It came out with red and black, and then blue and black. There's a limited edition Pikachu one, which is basically, in Japan right now, but it was hinted in a previous commercial for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity, but, we'll be seeing more 3DS XL colors later. But there's a lot of colors for the 3DS. I mean, we got blue, red, black, no green yet, I want green, purple, cobalt blue, white, a whole bunch of new colors, and there's two new ones, like bright pink, I think it's called hot pink, and then there's light blue, which is really cool. No, it's gloss pink, that's what it is. So basically, yeah, I mean, the run for your money, I mean, if you want to just get a simple system that you could just play 3DS games on without having all the, bells and whistles, go ahead and buy the 3DS. I mean, for $169.99 US dollars, it's really great. If you want to get something more, luxurious and more easy to hold, and, if you want to improve on your gaming skills, go ahead and get the 3DS XL for $199.99. Thank you guys for watching the review of the Nintendo 3DS XL, as well as the comparison of the Nintendo 3DS with the Nintendo 3DS XL. My name is Paul Leclerc, also known as Super Nintendroid, and thank you all for watching. More videos coming soon. Stay tuned.